Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the 144,000 and 130 elect of the nation of Israel. I'm the brother Kabash from the GMS Atlanta camp, and I'm here with the whole fair to find let's do the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. And in this lesson, it's just going to be a brief commentary on Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, going into uh, what does woe mean? This is chapter 11, verse 14. Um, so I'm gonna look up World War III. Here you have, the news going live of the U.S. and Russia and China. Um, right here, we're gonna go into the Wikipedia of World War III and other wars too prior to World War III, which World War III is a product of World War One and World War II. And to point out mainly in this article, I'm gonna go into the scriptures of Revelations chapter 11, verse 14, and into chat GP to go into what's the meaning of the word woe, and is it directly or indirectly talking about war? Um, which the scriptures, it shows that um, it's talking about major events in this particular prophecy 14, going into the second woe and the third woe, which we was talking about apostles and others, that this is the Second World War and the Third World War. And you have in Revelation chapter 9, I think around the 11 verse, if I'm not mistaken, or the 14th verse, it talks about World War One and World War II. So before I get into this article, I'm gonna go into these scriptures. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 11. Okay, it's telling me that. Okay, I'm going to the blue letter again. But right here in the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 12. So like it wasn't 11 or 14, it was verse 12. Revelation chapter 9, verse 12, and it reads, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. And in the scriptures, the Lord mentioned the word prophecy means to say before. And to say before what? Any event or anything that happens. It's not just talking about um, the creation, because the creation is already in order, even down to the signs of the weather. So the Lord ain't talking about the weather to come. No, he's talking about future events amongst the nations. Because on land, man rules, and in the sea, um, the Leviathan rules. Like you read in Second Ezra chapter, I think it's Second Ezra chapter 6 or chapter 8. And Salaki for not getting that, but I think it's in chapter 6. Second Ezra chapter 6. It goes into Enoch, which is man ruling the land, and the Leviathan ruling the water. It goes into basically the order of things on earth. And the Lord said in Daniel chapter 4, I think around the 17th verse, that the Most High reigned in the kingdom of men. And the kingdom of men is the planet Earth. So the Lord orchestrates what events take place and whatnot. And in the scriptures, you can see that is referred to futuristic times, because in no time in history the Lord ever came back and set the world in order. He didn't come back and judge the whole world. And there's certain prophecies too written in the Apocrypha, which is part of the Bible. Check out the 1611 King James Version. It goes into how the Lord has a certain day on when he's going to come back. And going into the judgment day, certain prophecies haven't came to pass yet. Because if that was so, it wouldn't have been no more war. You know, the Lord said they're going to turn their swords and their spears into pruning hooks. You know, they're going to go back to keeping up the agriculture of the earth instead of being intended with war. Why? Because the righteous is in rulership starting with Yahweh Shai. So the Lord still has his hands on these modern day times too as well. He has his hands on the world leaders' minds as well, just like he did with the ancient world leaders and their kingdoms. So I have this in Revelations chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Now I looked into Chat GPT. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go up a couple of verses, and then I'm gonna go into Chat GPT. First, I'm gonna get Amos chapter 3, verse 7, and then I'm gonna go back to the blue letter. Amos chapter 3, verse 7, and it says, "Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets." And like I just mentioned, the apostle elders taught us these things, these breakdowns, dark sayings. You go to Romans chapter 10, I think around the 14th verse. It says, "How should one believe if they have not been taught?" And we just read that the Lord would do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto the servants. Yeah, because the Lord don't do nothing when he receive. It's like the Lord doesn't do anything when he gives the prophets these secret things like prophecies of future things to come. Like he don't come down. Like the only time he did that was during the time of Moses. And that's when the great exile, but something great had to happen. And when certain prophets received certain visions, they received it sometimes in captivity or sometimes in the land and in the homeland, which is Israel. But most of the time it was in captivity. And the Lord never came down and he conquered our enemies and put us out of captivity at that time. But he gave us those secrets of the prophets. I mean, it's like secrets of it is secrets of the prophets, but secrets of prophecy concerning future events, especially such as now. John the Revelator received that vision of the second time, which is in order. And the prophets at that time could only describe the vision in the terminology that they knew at that time. But still, those terminologies are still used to this day. It's just more direct in word and whatnot. So the secrets that when he revealed it to us, it was already given to our forefathers. Then he revealed it back to us in these last days, which these events are going to take place, because that lake of fire has to come, and it's going to come by way of World War III. So right here in the blue letter, Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, the second woe, and the second woe is past, and behold, the third. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14 says that the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. It talks about these world wars. Key into the word world, meaning the whole world. You see a painting or a globe, that's talking about the known world, and really going into all these nations fighting in a war. That's why it says world war. And that's a big thing. That's a huge event. And guess what? The Lord knew about World War One and World War Two. It wasn't. The wars didn't go on his own. The Lord stirred up these nations for war, just like He's doing right now with this World War Three. They're all meeting in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is over there in the east, amongst the Persian Gulf and the Black Sea. And they already got war submarines in these oceans. America, with this mass embassies over there in the east, they're locked and loaded and ready to go to war, just as well as these other nations that's already stationed over there. Russia, Ukraine situation going on, Israel and Iran, North Korea jumping in, China jumping in. You got this thing with Venezuela, and now they on their way down to Mexico to fight the cartel. They saying they're going to fight the drug cartel, which I doubt it. Just like this. See this. See this pop up. Okay, it wants to act up. We're refreshing it again. But yeah, this is what we're going into. We're going into this third war because it was prophesied that we're going to go into it by way of these scriptures. All right, gotta type it in. Okay, so I put woe versus war. Here's the clear difference between woe and war, especially in biblical language. Woe meaning a cry of warning, sorrow, or judgment, an announcement that trouble is coming, an expression of grief or doom. And I'm gonna go into Second Ezra chapter 7. It goes into the Lord commencing the day of doom on the planet Earth, but in the far future, from the time of Ezra during the Persian and Medes, the Lord wasn't bringing the day of doom in that time, nor when Yahushua passed away. It was during the time when Israel would finish the testimony that's written about in Revelation chapter 11, which is us fulfilling the prophecy of us living through straits and persecution of the curses, ultimately, and also the prophecies that admit of those curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 to verse 68. Us finishing up that, like it says in Lamentations chapter 4, verse 22, thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. After Yahushua passed away, after he was crucified, the Lord shed the blood for Israel's sake, starting with the elect of Israel plate first, because the elect are counted as the first fruits that's going to be saved, that's worthy to be delivered in the day of doom, which is Judgment Day, which that lake of fire is really those nuclear missiles that's going to create that lake of fire, especially over here in America on Judgment Day, the day of doom. So right here it says, an expression of grief or doom. So an announcement that trouble is coming. And what we see in the news, we see that they have World War III headlines and mainstream media news, alternative news. But the Lord said what? Um, these prophecies is going to be fulfilled. The hour of temptation has to come before World War III happens. And also the sealing of the elect, like it says in Revelation chapter 7. Those angels holding back those four winds are set up to hold back the war for escalating from all these nations firing these nuclear missiles on each other. You know, halting Iran nuclear project from them getting nuclear missiles. You know, the angels are doing all that. Because, you know, Iran, they're part of destroying America too. You know, the Medes, I think Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17 goes into that. Speaks about Magog and the Medes. Which the Magogs of Russia, they come in tag teaming against Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. And we're seeing that now. They have a partnership with each other now. Yeah, it talks about the Medes. Isaiah 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which should not regard silver, and as for gold, they should not delight in it. And that's what the Lord is doing with the Iranians. You know, the Persians was the Persian and the Medes, but you know, the Medians really counted as the Russians. Because this is all future prophecy. Most of it in Revelation chapter, it's like not Revelation, but the book of Isaiah chapter 13. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this article and then I'm gonna go back to the scriptures because I don't want to lose my point. But all these nations are they about to they're about to start this war in the hot way. Yeah, it's like yeah, the Medes is the Iranians. It's like it. Because I did mention Russia, but I was mentioning uh Ezekiel 38 in my head concerning Gog and Magog, which is going to go up against Babylon the Great. Now, right here in the article, Romans. Right here it says World War III also is a hypothetical future global conflict, it's not hypothetical. It's not hypothetical, man. This is real deal Holyfield that already happened, and it's going to happen just like that, just like before time. So let's look at this word hypothetical right quick. Okay, based on damn, it's all good. Of or indicating based on serving as a hypothesis, position or statement. So it's not even real. It's not even a conclusion of them saying that it will happen or not. What they're saying is a hypothetical future global conflict subsequent to World War One, 1914, 1918, World War Two, 1939, 1945, which was relatively close to each other in timing. And now you have after 45 all the way to 2026, almost 80 years later, World War III is here. It is widely predicted that such a war would involve all of the great powers. So, just like I mentioned, China, Iran, China being a superpower, Russia being a superpower, America, those are great powers, and they're going to fight against each other like it's two predecessors in the use of nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction, thereby surpassing all prior conflicts in scale, devastation, and loss of life. So this is that great woe, that sorrow, that grief, that troubling time. That's happening right now. World War III was initially synonymous with the escalation of the Cold War, 1947, from 1947 to 1991, into direct conflict between the U.S.-led Western Bloc and Soviet-led Eastern Bloc. Since the United States' development and use of nuclear weapons and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II, the risk of a nuclear apocalypse causing widespread destruction and the potential collapse of modern civilization or human extinction has been central in speculation and fiction about World War III. Well, we see that it's here. This is no more in hypothetical theory fashion. This is at the doors of all nations. Look, nuclear warfare is often the focus of a World War III scenario. They fought with atomic bombs at first during that World War II, but now they're in the nuclear missile phase. And just like this picture right here, this is actually going to happen, but on a grand scale. The sky rolled back like scrolls. This is what this is talking about. So I'm gonna get a precept in the book of Matthew chapter 24. But first, I'm gonna get some more out of this chat GPT. And it says what it represents right here in the biblical roots, Hebrew, or hoy, alas, which is no I in the sorry, it's no O and Y in the Hebrew. Hoy and the Greek oi, or woe. Let's look up the Hebrew word for Allah's. And they said Revelations chapter 18. It goes into that Allah's and last that great city. Let's see, Allah's last. Okay, let's look at this word Allah's. Strong's H994 is Bayah or Ba'i. Why they had the HO right here? O. If it please, pray, excuse me, please. Used to introduce an entreaty or request. Yeah, because these nations are gonna be finished, man, in that day, especially when America get destroyed. And these people are protesting in the streets, with this Venezuela thing, and also with ISIS, because America government is warring against the people right now. The sedition among men, Second Ezra chapter 15, that's happening right now. So right here it says prayer asking and by the usage of the language and the account as a part of entreaty or rather of asking pardon, always followed by with a petition with asking. Let's see, went down. They said we pray, oh Lord. Yeah, when people, we was in tight situation, especially death pursuing us, we would be in the prayer and petition for the Lord to plead our cause and in a merciful way at that time. So our lives is, really, people treating mourning and sorrow. And that's really the whole world. So right here it says what it represents: warning, judgment, lament, moral or spiritual failure. Woe is not an event, it is a proclamation. So war meaning armed conflict between nations or groups, physical fighting, battles, bloodshed, biblical roots. My cup Ma, Greek polemos, uh, and it says what it represents: military conflict, violence, conquest, defense, or invasion. War and its event. How they connect in scriptures. A woe often comes before war. War. Yet a third woe coming quickly. Now, before it gets to that wartime, is people gonna be grieving, troubling, and that's what we see. And we in the time of Jacob's trouble. You know, woe. They said really is a proclamation, right? So I looked at the word proclamation meaning. It says proclamation definition: a public or official announcement, especially one dealing with a matter of great importance. And like I mentioned, uh, it says right here, woe is not an event, but it is really, um, signifying a great importance, which is that event, which is the war. So let me go into seeing some of these uh, news articles. Because these news articles are fresh, man. They're real fresh. So we're not behind the times in World War III. And World War III is going to happen. Look, 2 days ago, because war affects uh, businesses too as well. It says word about World War III, build a tough portfolio to survive. And they swear stocking up on gold is going to solve everything. You even got in the news too, about to put in the chat. I think Trump is going to confiscate people's silver. And he's going to confiscate your gold. It says expert reveals the 15 U.S. cities that would be first targets if World War III started, and some might surprise you. I know they say California is the first to go, along with New York, and D.C. It says Donald Trump will cause World War III as world warned it. It'll be the end as we know it. Yeah, it's true. Look, 11 hours ago from Daily Star. Look, that it says it'll be as it's like it. Read it right. Kind of rushing through it. Donald Trump from Daily Star News. It says Donald Trump will cause World War III as world warned it. As world warned, it'll be the end as we know it. So it'll be the end as we know it, and we're living in that time because this is the day of doom. And Albert Einstein forward would be fought by sticks and stone because World War III is going to end everything to where everything has to be started over. So I'm gonna get this in 2 Ezra chapter 7. But first, I'm gonna get this in the book of matter of fact, I'm gonna start with 2 Ezra chapter 7, then I'm gonna end off from Matthew chapter 24. And Romans chapter 13 is gonna be so this 2 Ezra chapter 7, verse um, hang around 2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 29. I just had it. Okay, 2 chapter 7, verse 43. But the day of doom should be the end of this time and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, and temperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. And that hasn't happened yet because truth and righteousness doesn't exist in this world. And also, too, this third war is really the day of doom. That's when the Lord is going to come back and he's going to deliver the peaceful multitude, like it says in 2 chapter 13, when he comes to destroy these other nations. And he's going to allow those nuclear missiles that these other nations are going to use in this World War III to fall on America, which essentially 2/3 of Israel is located at. And you're going to be annihilated in those missiles. Scripture says that the Lord said he sanctified Gog and Magog to do these things. It's Russia and his allies. They're going to shoot missiles over here. That's the day of doom. And that's the time that Trump is talking about in the Daily Star, that will be the end of all things. And they know this. And they're going to hide in those bunkers that they got deep in the earth. They're going to tell the rocks to fall on them to hide from the Lamb, to hide them from the Lamb. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, because these things are not going to happen until certain prophecies come to pass. The Lord already told the disciples that these things will come on the earth. This is book of Matthew chapter 24, I think around the 4th verse. But these are the signs of the end of time. And the Lord mentioned it to the 12 disciples that when they see these things, know that the end is near. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when should these things and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many should come in my name, saying, I am the anointed. Because we all know that Christ goes back to the word Christos in the Greek, which means anointed or Messiah. You go back to the Hebrew word for the word anointed or Messiah, it means Mashiach. And this is just a title of the Lord, which means anointed. So, because he is the anointed one, like it says in Matthew chapter 1, verse 21, he's the anointed one to save Israel, the nation of Israel, from their sins and be reconciled back to the Heavenly Father forever. And should deceive many, yeah, because they're not coming in the name of the Lord to save Israel. They trying to kill off Israel, which Israel is Yahushua's family. So right here it says, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. So we shouldn't be troubled, got third world coming. But we ain't trouble just because they're going to shoot these nuclear missiles out. Why? Because we have this truth, this light to reveal unto us not to be. Because we know these things must take place. And when these things take place, we're not going to be saved out of this last captivity like the other captivities. No, the Lord's going to call us up into that cloud, which is that big spaceship that's going to come on the earth when World War III is at its height to fight with those nuclear missiles and their army over there in the east. Like it says in Revelation chapter 11, I think around the 12th verse, the Lord's going to call us up in the Hebrew. He's going to talk to us in the Hebrew. The whole world's going to hear it. And they're just going to see Negroes, Latino, Native American Indians beamed up while missiles at the same time is falling. This is what's going to happen in that third war. But that's like the final prophecy that we're going to have to live through, which is synonymous with 2 chapter 13, when the Lord comes back in the cloud with all the holy hosts of the Heavenly Father and the Son. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And we're seeing those things. Just had a 9 point something earthquake in Japan. You got tsunamis over there in the east, far east, off of Asia. And it's Thailand, all of it just get more and more wicked. And there's a lot of earthquakes being recorded multiple times daily. Not just one time out the week, 2 times out the year. No, earthquakes is happening every damn day. And it's getting worse. It's getting on a higher level. It's like nothing even go down past 7 now. It's like 7 and up. And then it's rarely 7. And what barely 7, and it stayed in the 8. And then it just shoot the 9. It's going to hit that 10 mark. Shit gonna be looking like 2012 out here. So right here, we have these events taking places, famines, made man famines, lack of nutritional foods and whatnot, which you're eating nothing. So it's a famine of real food, and also a famine in other places because the powers that be and the rebels, they cutting off the food supply. And it says in pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So we're in the beginning of sorrows. We're also in the beginning of Jacob's trouble. See what's happening to the tribes out there, man. ISIS is doing the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom like that. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Which in time past, we know when all the 12 tribes of Israel, from the head tribe of Judah on down to Issachar, has been attacked, that means that the Lord's on his way back, just like he did in many other times. So I'm going to wrap it up with this precept. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, because the night is far spent, man. We in that morning time when the Lord is going to come back and come with healing in his wings for Israel that's been trodden down for ages. He's going to put in captivity our enemies that's been ruling over us with the with the iron fist against Israel. This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, because of prophecy, times that we in, secular history, filtering out with Bible scriptures, just like our forefathers had to. Ezra's had to. Look in the book of 2 chapter 9, it talks about that. Measure the times diligently within itself. That's what he did, and that's what we're doing. That now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Yeah, it's nearer than when we believe. And we're seeing these times now. Now, I just mentioned Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, which that's a major prophecy, one of the major prophecies that's going to come to pass, but it's not going to come to pass until the MOTB, the hour of temptation comes, because we're right after, we're right in the midst of Jacob's trouble, which is a prophecy that's supposed to come to pass. That's what the Lord says he's going to save us up out of it. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 8. He's going to make an end to all these other nations. How? By this day of doom. They're going to be taken out of power. The Lord's going to take their crowns. He's going to take their titles. And he's going to be ruler over the earth along with the 144,000. So it's nearer than when we believe. Right here, verse 12. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light, which is his truth. So we're casting off the works of darkness so we won't be guilty with the world when the Lord comes back. So, with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash, Quran to the hopefully elect, and Shalom.